Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Criminal Minds. In previous the introduction that I just made could be considered weird. But why? Because it's not true? Well, I could say that, hello, welcome to my channel, I'm so happy to see you. How would you know if that's true? How would you know if I'm actually not going through something so horrible in my life and just putting on a smile? You would never consider me weird for that, but weirdness is such a complicated thing. Like, what is considered being weird? I don't know, wearing very bright makeup, or like, I don't know, wearing a clown outfit in public, or like, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you like weird? The first thing that comes to my mind when I say weird, I like see a photo of like a pony, crazy looking pony with like a makeup, or like, you know, a person in clown costume going through like Times Square, whatever. That is what I have in my head when I think, oh, weird. What is the definition of weird? The definition of weird is different, strange, unusual, and so on and so forth, which we make as a society to be also a good thing and a bad thing. If we see an artist who is doing something different, like very popular artists, and they try out new like music genres and like putting I don't know, instruments that don't go well together, but they in their songs they do. I don't even know what instruments could not go well together, but bear with me. And we're like, oh my god, this is so weird, it's so genius, it's so, you know. But if someone with like 100 followers does that, we're like, oh, that's weird, that's cringe. And also, if they're a person outside gonna be following you and like doing the same thing and like, okay, listen to my music, or like they won't even like ask you, they will just invade your private space and like the space around you and like play the music to you, that will be also weird. There's so many like concept of what weird is, but most of the time it just means different, which is fun fact. Weird and historically meant something supernatural or beyond human understanding, which I think nothing really changed since then. We still view weird as something like out there, something like supernatural, something like, oh, this is something I should be avoid, and so on. So the question is being weird a good or bad thing? Weird is also like being your authentic self, or so we're told on social media. So is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? What do you think? Like, take a few minutes, because I want you to think also, not to just consume information. And, you know, do you think it's a good or a bad thing? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Okay, lock it in. So I think, my opinion, that being weird is, yes, it's being your authentic self, as I said. And some people see weirdness as a negative form because it challenges societal norms. And we want to please society, and we want to please people around us because of the ancient times where we had to survive. We had to rely on other people to survive. And we're still like predisposed and like so scared that if other people will just like, you know, say like, oh, you're weird, don't go out with us, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die alone. Like, you don't think that, but your brain or whatever, I'm not an expert in this, like, oh my god, I need to put me in survival mode or whatever. We want to please people because of that. And challenging societal norms, are you crazy? Are you insane? You want to die alone? There will be no one to protect you from a dinosaur or whatever, you know. But the thing is, dinosaurs don't exist anymore. We don't really need other people to survive, in a sense of like fighting for your life. You don't need that. You go to the store and you buy a dead animal that was already killed for you, was already like, I don't know, put the feathers from it, I don't know. You already do that. It's not gonna like jump on you and like kill you or whatever. You're safe. That animal is not, but you are. And why we perceive weirdness as a good thing, because it's authentic. Because if you're weird, it means that you're authentic, that it's who you truly are. And these people draw other people in because of how free they are. And other people look at them and like, oh my god, what if I can be that? What if I can be as free as this person? This person makes me want to be free, so I should, like, something draws me in that person. But also, it's like we perceive it as a good thing because in a way of like originality, creativity, and all these things, which means that weird people in the way of like creativity, originality in whatever sense we like positively put them, are not following the crowd. They break the societal norms, which in most cases creatively I really admire. When someone does something that have not been done before, that could be considered weird, but actually, if you look closer, is a genius idea. Because all the successful, influential people that made something, that made a name for themselves, are weird. In fact, everyone is weird. I will not even like care and like won't waste your time and like ask you, do you think everyone is weird? Do you think that, because everyone is. Everyone is. If you know a person who like is not weird, you don't know them enough. And that is a sad thing, because you can be friends with a person for 10 years and they will not show you their weird parts, which is like, oh, they must not have them. Everyone does. Everyone has these like crazy narratives in their mind they have to live with. Everyone is weird. It's just a matter of how well you know a person. Some people you can see that they're weird from like mile away. Some people you can see that they are weird by just like saying hi to them and like having a small talk. For other people, it could take you like a month of knowing them and for them to comfortably feel to open up to you their weirdness. It's also about confidence. People who are weird, they're free. They are confident in themselves. They don't really care if what you think about their new hair, or like for example the fact that they make funky music, or I don't know, about poems that they write. They're free. They don't really care. They embrace the weirdness. And the funniest thing is that every one of us is weird. You're watching this is weird. Like every person on this earth is weird, but we call other people weird. We could be like walking down the street or know that person for a long time and we're like, okay, they're so weird, they're so weird. And I think the reason why we call other people weird, while in the same time we are weird, is because we don't understand them. They are weird in a niche or like a thing that we don't understand. Like for example, if a person likes to write poetry or songs or books, or like do something creative, and the other person doesn't really like to do anything creative. They like mundane things. I don't know, numbers. I don't know any like mundane things. That sounded so bad. I'm sorry. But like if two people have different lives and you see that, for example, first person goes to work and like to gym and like again and saves their money and like to work, to gym, and like eats healthy and save their money, and the other person is working from project to project, just doesn't really save their money, buys equipment to film, or like spends all the money on like courses, or like has this different perspective on life and different things. Those two people will think that each of those people, like this person will think that this person is weird, and this person will think that this person is weird, because they have such different perceptions of life and such different lives that they have to have some level of maturity to understand that he just has a different life or she just has a different life, without it being like, oh, he's weird. So the reason why we call other people weird, I think, is because we don't understand them. My friends have a person who they call weird, who's very similar to me, and I say, well, I do the exact same thing. I do the same exact thing. I do this, and they like, no, but you are you, but like that person is like, so weird. There's also like a biased form. If you don't like the person, you like they're weird. Like, doesn't matter if your neighbor is the same and you hang out with your neighbor for like, I don't know, 10 years, and they're basically the same, they do the same things, and you're like, I like my neighbor, that guy is just weird. I don't want to understand him. I don't want to like understand him. I don't want to understand her. I don't want to understand like why she does that. She's weird. And it's so easy to like put a label on a person, on like they are weird, instead of trying to understand why they're the way they are. And it's think it's fine. I'm not convincing anyone to just, every person you meet, just go deep into conversation with them and understand why they are the way they are. So stalk their social media and like understand why they do the things that they do. Why do they post the things that they do? Don't be like that, because that is actually scary. And I think it's like criminally punished something. If you truly take a time out of your day to understand the person and take all the bias beside, the person will no longer be weird. So my honest, humble opinion is that everyone is 100% weird. But there are also some people that seem too normal, that you know them for like few years and you just like, they too normal. They're too normal. There is nothing interesting in their life. They're not weird. They boring. You see, I didn't even like thought of it or like of this video. I'm just like looking over the like outlines of road, and the first thing that came to my mind of like being too boring or too normal is boring. And that is what it is. People who are trying to be too normal are literally boring. If you try to be like everyone else, you just dig a goal and bury your own uniqueness with your own hands, because you're afraid of getting rejected by people or people not liking you. Newsflash, there are people that will not like you all the time in your life. There a person right now sitting somewhere doesn't really like you. The way that you laugh, they just, oh, that's, I hate that. Literally, your whole life, there will be a person who won't like you. And there is no need to go around and be like and try to please everyone, because there are also people in your life that you don't like. It doesn't mean that they're like something bad, that you're a horrible person just because you don't like someone, that you just like, oh my god, I need to, but I don't know, do something because I don't like someone. No, that's fine. That's a part of life, and that's okay, because they're also a person who likes you. There's so many people that like you, that like how you smile, how you talk, they like your jokes, they cannot wait for you to enter the room. And there are people for you that also do that. So that's totally fine not to be liked by someone and not to like someone. We're just somehow trying to be so perfect in that way of just like, everyone should love me. Not really, no. Jesus, for example, was a perfect human being, but there were people that hated him, that were annoyed with him. He was healing people. He was helping people. He was making people healthier and like keep them company. And he was very kind and thoughtful and, hardworking and so on and so forth. All the qualities of a good human being you could name, he was them. And there were people who were like, okay, this guy, he's gonna die the most painful death because, well, I don't even like, was it because they thought that he was lying or something? Oh my god, I need to read New Testament. I forgot, what was the reason they... Oh my god, this is such a like basic knowledge and I forgot it. Wait, it's in the Matthew last chapter somewhere. Okay, I like found where they should be talking about that, but it was written Jesus didn't reply. Like, he asked, do you know what they are testifying for, like whatever, and he's like, he didn't reply. So okay, that's fine. So here's that the most perfect human being on earth was killed by the most painful death that could be imagined. The other thing is, am I weird? Are you weird? Are we like, what makes us weird? What actually makes other people weird? I don't think like in itself as an individual I'm weird. Like, if I am by myself all alone, I'm not weird. I'm just me. See, in one room you could be weird, and in one room you could be cool, energetic, like so interesting, so, I don't know, amazing and so on. So it's really about people's perspective in the end. Like, by myself and by yourself, you're just you. You don't look at yourself and you're like, I'm weird. No, you just look at yourself like, I'm me. All these jokes, all these like crazy thoughts that are going on in my head, they're just me. Because if you think that you're weird, you have something to compare it to, and comparison is never like a good thing. Because if you have this person in your head that you're like, oh my god, I'm weirder than this person. I'm not. Again, it all goes to societal norms, and I'm just yapping about nothing. What a break. I wrote down this question of like, am I weird? What makes me weird? Into ChatGPT, and it says you could reflect on your own weird qualities, habits, thoughts, or interests that make you different. So if I'm, for example, very passionate about one thing, like there's the thing that I'm so passionate about, I cannot stop thinking about it. People call it obsession. You might have seen a movie Whiplash or Black Swan, you know. Some people could say that they're obsessed, like too obsessed, that it's just too much. Some people, they could say that they're so passionate, you know. So they are really different for me. Like I don't really care that much about ballet. I don't really care that much about drumming and playing drums, you know. I don't like, okay, sure. And that gives me the liberty to say that they are weird because I do not resonate with these things. I do not, it's not a part of my life, you know. But also, I, in this sense, only in this way, I possess the maturity, it feels funny to say, possess the maturity to recognize that I don't really have to be, you know, that's just their thing. It doesn't make them weird, it just makes them unique, which I think unique has such a weird, I think, okay, unique has such a different, unusual meaning because of all this like, oh no, you're not weird, you're just unique. And people say that so many times that right now in my brain, unique just associates with weird, and I cannot help it. Oh, I have some unique talents. They're weird talents. Oh, he's so weird. No, he's unique. She has this unique ability to play by her toes on guitar. Weird. Have you seen this? I think you've seen this interview question of like, what unique talents you have. If other person, not popular, not like celebrity, whatever, would show the internet like, oh, I have this ability to do this, and that, people would go, oh my god, this is so weird. This is so like unnecessary. This is so like, I don't know. Like, for example, even this like playing guitar with your toes, you know, I don't really think there was a celebrity that could do that. If they could, I didn't know about that. Again, this is so unusual and it's so weird that the same skill just has different like, oh, it's weird, oh, it's unique, oh, it's weird, oh, it's unique. So for the longest time, as you will be reaching towards your dream, as you will be trying to achieve your dream, I think for the longest time, most of the time, you're gonna be perceived as weird. You're not gonna be perceived as unique. Of like, oh my god, that person has like 100 followers, like one follower, and they make these videos, such a weird videos. Why they make them? Why they post them so often? That's just so weird. There's so few people that would say, oh my god, that person is actually so unique. That is so dope. Yeah, you know, go. That was so awkward. Also, ChatGPT asked, does embracing your weirdness makes life more fun? Does it though? Like, what do you think? I think it does. I think it does make life more fun. It definitely makes it less uptight. Just have this like freedom within you. Even I see and I like notice people who are like weird, free, they even show this in their posture that they're so not uptight. There are people that are trying to be up, not like trying, I think it's part of them now. They are so uptight and it really shows, and I know that that person will never crack up at like weird joke that no one will laugh at, and the person will be like, okay, fine, well, not all jokes, just, you know, whatever. And there are people that are just like sitting freely, and I can expect from that person or from these people a weird joke or a weird like a comment anytime. And there are people that are just don't. And that is, I think, honestly fine, because there are rooms in which these people that seem too normal crack up so many jokes, so many funny jokes that we would laugh our everything off if we would hear it, and that's fine. Because if the person doesn't feel comfortable being weird with you, you don't have to force it, because that is their boundaries. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. Also, what was weird decades ago might be cool and unique now. For example, nerds. How many times I've seen on TikTok these like edits of nerds, and I'm like, oh my god, so nice. So like, I don't know, I love, I don't even know what they put into these TikToks, and like what they put in like society and all these mainstream like movies and whatever. Nerds are actually attractive. I don't think it was like that a decade ago, but what do I know? A decade ago I couldn't even tie my own shoes. Well, that is an exaggeration. I actually could. I could not spell the word interesting, that's for sure. No, I could not spell the word beautiful. I have trouble with that sometimes also. A lot of things were weird 10 years ago, but now are like, okay, for example, 50 years ago, it was weird to talk by yourself on the street, but now we have phones and it's like, it's not weird. They're actually a person on the other end of that call. Weirdness is sometimes a sign of being ahead of the curve. We already talked about that. What if weirdness is just confidence? And I think, in my opinion, it is. It's a way of being confident who you are and like being free and all of these things. And also there have been studies that show that people who embrace their quirks are actually more creative and successful. But I don't even know what are my quirks? What is something that I do that is very weird to the society? Oh, yeah, I found one. Okay. To a large part of the society, it could be weird that I don't eat meat. It could be weird that I don't eat, cheese and eggs and any like animal product. It's weird. It was weird for me. I have a cousin who is vegetarian, and when I was a child, I'm like, ooh, she eats like soy. Oh my god, that is so weird. She's so weird. Why would she voluntarily do that? Like, oh my god, soy is like just like so terrible. Just because I thought that because I really hated the taste of peas, and my mom used to like force me to eat them, and I'm like, ooh, that's that is weird. That is very weird. Whatever. I thought that she's weird, and I remember that like a few days ago or like a week ago, and I'm like, oh my god, who knew? I ended up even, some people could say worse than that, not eating milk or eggs or whatever, So that could be weird. That is my quirk, but people could also have like a quirk that is, you can see that there is like, it's a negative quirk. For some of you, me being vegan could also mean that it's like negative quirk, but that is your personal opinion. That's fine with me. If someone has a quirk of like peeking through holes in like, I don't know, bathrooms or whatever, that is not a quirk. That is, I want to say that is very weird, but I'm already given by this whole episode like a uniqueness to the weirdness. So I don't even know. That is very concerning. Like if you're like wondering why I'm sitting like this, is because my back hurts, and like the age is really like, knocking in the door. So if some people have quirks like that, peeking through some like other people's bathrooms, or like standing and looking in their windows like at night, that is not a quirk. That is actually a problem. That is a concern. That doesn't really put you ahead of the curve. That puts you behind a few metal bars, as much as I'm concerned. Okay. Also, being weird makes you more memorable, and I think people pay more attention to people who stand out, especially like, for example, if you want to be in an industry where there's so many people, and by this point I think there are so many people in every industry. But for example, I remember there was a program on TV when I was younger where there would be like open calls for models, and those that were weird always somehow got accepted. And I'm like, why did they get accepted? I was watching it, I'm like, oh my god, if I were in this situation, I don't think how I would stand out. I lack this creativity to like do something to stand out, and that person would do this and like this. I don't even remember examples any, because I was so little. We already looked over of why people are afraid of being weird. So let's move on, because there was another point written, but I already talked about that. I'm not following my own outline, which is just great. There is a good quote that I read while my camera was cooling down or whatever. Intimacy is a capacity to be rather weird with someone and finding that that's okay with them. So if you know a person and you like they're not weird, you don't really have any intimacy with that person. I think. I don't know. I just never like knew a person and they were not weird. Like on intimate level, like deeply knew a person and they were not weird. They always are in some sense. And I'm just trying to remember all my friends and like their weird quirks and their like weird things and so on and so forth. And I just, for some of them I have complications right now remembering, and I'm like questioning our friendship, but to the most of them I know what their weird quirks are. Such a fun thing, to like find out on what level other people know other people by just like, oh, are they truly friends? Okay, tell me their weird quirks. And they're like, oh, but there's no whatever. I just like how I make this like funny noise, or this funny voice, whatever. The double standards of weird being, I don't know, cool if someone famous or well-known does that, and if a unknown person does the same thing, is actually so crazy to me, because it's so unmotivating to the people who are starting out. And I just the funny thing is that those people that are called iconic or like cool or geniuses for something that they do weirdly were the same people who were called weird in a bad sense when they were starting out. So you just have to push through it. If someone calls you weird and like, oh, you're so weird, we don't understand you, like, let's go to the party, why are you always in your room, why you're always, whatever, you're just like, sure, okay, I feel like it's not relating to the topic, but I feel like we rely so much on what other people think of us that we never take a time out of our day to sit down and to figure out, what do we feel about ourselves? What do I feel about myself? What do I think about myself? What do I think should be the next step? What do I think I should get for lunch? There's like moments in movies of like, well, where we should go for lunch. I don't know. Well, I don't know also. What is good with you is good with me. What is, I always know. Like, it's such a, I don't know. I'm not trying to come out selfish, which I think I will if I'm gonna continue doing this. But I'm one of those people who like, I know where I want to go eat. I know what I want for my birthday. Most of the time, I do not know what movie to watch. So, that just centered me back to, because I was like, my ego was very lifted by me saying all these things, but I have a real struggle of finding a movie. Whenever I sit and like, I eat something, I always watch something, and it takes me so long sometimes to find a movie, and I don't know why a movie. Why not like a YouTube video? I'm like, YouTube video is not that interesting. I want to watch a TV show, and then I'm like, what TV show? Am I gonna rewatch or start a new one? Or, and my food gets cold, and I'm like, so frustrated, and, not fun times. Okay. The last 2 points are weird people happier? Definitely. I think they are. I think they don't live in this fear of how they are being perceived or how to act, or in this constant pressure of trying to be someone they're not, of trying to reduce themselves and, do all these things. So I think in one way it's for sure they're happier, but I think they're also aware of the fact that other people think that they're weird, and if they want like a support group, or not like support group of like, hi, my name is, no, like if they want someone to rely on to support them, and they're like, so many people call me weird, I should like, shut down and never show anyone this weirdness again, and I should, I don't know, very complex, different for everyone. And the last one is, will life be boring without weirdness? You see, we value unique things. We want unique things. We want to have unique things. If, for example, they're a black dress and they made a few months ago a collection of like 100 pieces where the dress is black but with like these amazing, I don't know, stones or whatever. We want the unique thing. We want, for example, a few days ago I saw a TikTok of people searching for unique plates and cups and, you know, all this like things, or like unique tables. I want my home to be unique. I want this to be unique. I want, you know, so weird that we're searching for unique things to own, but when it comes to ourselves, we try to be normal. I think that is a very cool point. Weird people make life interesting, whether we love them or judge them. I think you have to learn how to be weird. When you do, there's no stopping you. I'm gonna read you at the end some quotes that I love. We're all a little weird, and life is a little weird, and when we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours, we join up with them and fall into mutual satisfying weirdness and call it love. True love. Also, I like this one. It's just, where's your will to be weird? There's a whole category of people who miss out by not allowing themselves to be weird enough. I think it's so true. So many opportunities they missed, so many things they didn't create because they're afraid of being weird. And there's this quote by S.C. Lewis: be weird, be random, be who you are, because you never know who would love the person you hide. So, this is the ending argument. No, but I just wanted to say that. This is the ending point of this video, so I hope you got something from it, and you know, it was so thought-provoking. You didn't just like soak information and went ahead to scrolling mindlessly. So thank you for being here. Subscribe, like, whatever. I feel so cringe saying all this stuff, but you know, do, because sometimes I have really smart thoughts and I like to share them with the world, and that would be a pleasure if you if we would, you know, connect, and we would, you know, become one community. The closing tradition on this channel is, in almost every video, I give you a hug. So I'm giving you a hug, and this is a goodbye. So have a nice rest of your day, or and your week, and your month, and your whole life, and be weird, be free, be confident, and don't be afraid of what other people think of you. So bye, love you.